Was catfished by my dad. So me and my best friend were kind of just like swiping through Tinder for fun. And then she came across this really, really hot dude. So of course, she swiped right and they talked all night long. And he said he had an Android, so he couldn't FaceTime, but his messages were blue, so I thought something was off. She was too blinded to see that something was up in the first place because she was messaging with a really hot guy. So about a week of them just like texting back and forth and I guess getting to know each other, they decided that they were gonna meet up. So they both decided that they were gonna meet up at an Olive Garden near them. And you see, as her best friend, of course, I'm gonna have to go with her. So I got dressed up and I sat about 5 tables away from her. And we got there about 30 minutes earlier than we were supposed to be there. Okay, so my best friend had 3 bowls of fettuccine alfredo before he got there. So when he got there, it wouldn't look like she ate a lot. Then I see my dad walk in, all dressed up and fancy with a bow tie and everything. This story time just gets so much more funnier, so like for a part 2. Part 2 of how my best friend was catfished by my dad. Continuing with the story, I see my dad walk into the restaurant all dressed up. Mind you, my dad's married to my mother, of course. So I was like, ooh, my dad and my mom are finally going on a date together. And then he looks over to my best friend and walks over to the table. When I tell you my heart dropped, my heart has never sank so deep inside me so fast. He sits down and asks her, is this Mackenzie? When I tell you I busted out laughing so freaking hard I fell out of my chair. And almost everybody in the restaurant turned around and looked at me, and so did my dad. And I walk over to the table and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? My best friend is literally just sitting there in shock, no emotion on her face. Then he looks at us, he looks really confused, his face goes blank, and then he goes, I was just trying to teach y'all girls a lesson. I told my mom and I was just getting a laugh out of it, and then she looked through his phone and said that he was meeting up with a bunch of 14-year-old girls. So comes to find out, my dad is a pedophile. My mom kicked him out, and if you're one of those girls, I really do apologize. Until I figured out that my sister was trying to kill me. So me and my sister were like best friends when we were little, but she was a very, very jealous person. So years and years go on, but her jealousy seems to start to grow. So I never really thought about it until I found out that she really wanted me dead. But throughout the years, she would do little things to get me hurt. For example, she pushed me off the top of our treehouse and I ended up breaking my arm. But every time I got hurt, my family would baby me and she would get even more mad. So at this time, we're about 16 years old, and I had to go in her room to get her laundry. And under her laundry, I found her diary, or journal, or whatever you call it. I was flipping through the pages, I found out some interesting and crazy things. Then one was named The Perfect Murder. What an original name. She had this big, huge dresser in her room. She went into a lot of detail about how she was gonna kill me, but it stated that she was gonna push the dresser on top of me and jump on it until I, and scream for help. I'm running out of time, like for part 2. Part 2 of I found out that my sister was trying to kill me. Continue on with the story. After I read what I read in her diary, I decided it was best to keep it to myself. So about a month and a half later, I start to think to myself, and I'm like, okay, maybe she's not actually gonna do it. Y'all, I don't know why, but I was literally not scared that my sister was like about to kill me. So about 2.5 months after I read what I read in her diary, she calls me into her room and in this fakest voice ever goes, Sissy, why are you being so distant from me? I just looked at her like she was crazy. Then she goes, I know you read my diary. At that exact moment, she looked psycho. I don't know what I was thinking, but right after she said that, my reflex was to knock her out. So I knocked her out, then I stomped on her head. I called my mom into the room and read her the diary, or whatever the heck my sister put in there. Mind you, while I'm reading my mom this diary, she's still knocked out on the floor. My mom then continues to say she's gonna put her in a mental hospital. So to this day, my sister's in a mental hospital, and if you're listening to this and you ever get out, please don't kill me. I'm actually living an amazing life right now.
Tell me you went to a really toxic high school without telling me you went to a really toxic high school.
So I went to the bathroom in the middle of physics class. I go in and I see this girl and she's really not doing well. She looks nauseous. I say, are you okay? She says, no, I'm fine. I'm just gonna like chill in here for a while. I said, okay. So I left. And then I thought about her and I was like, oh my God, I need to go back there. So I go back and I see all these girls from my high school pointing and laughing at her, and she's frothing at the mouth, literally having an OD reaction to something. I pick this girl up, I carry her to the nurse's office, and I'm like, nurse, what do I do? Like, do we call 911? Like, I had no idea, I was in shock. And the nurse was like, Yasmin, don't waste your time on people that aren't worth it. And I was like, what?
story time of how I almost drowned someone's baby. Y'all, I cannot sleep at night because of this. I cannot believe that I did this to someone's child. But let me go ahead and explain myself. So I was babysitting for this one rich family. What's so amazing about it was the fact that the parents were never home. At the same time, I was just a senior in high school. I didn't have much to do after school either. I didn't have hobbies. I didn't play a sport. So I had all the time in the world to babysit for their kid and house sit for them. This baby was only 1 year old. Since the baby was so young, I had to keep eyes on it at all times. And they had this big pool area, and they said that if I ever wanted to go swimming, I could, and there was a floaty for the baby. One day while I was house sitting and babysitting for them, I went in the pool and I put the baby on the floaty thing. Somehow I forgot that baby existed. I felt something in the bottom of my feet at the pool. It was like slippery, so I kicked it out the way because I thought it was a toy. And when I turn around me, I see that the baby is not on the floaty. I look down and I see this tiny human sunk in the water, like for part 2. This is part 2 of how I almost drowned someone's baby. But when this was happening, I was on my phone, so I was distracted. I looked down in the pool and I see that the baby is drowning. I don't really know how to explain the way that my heart skipped a beat at this exact moment. Like, my heart was beating regularly, and then all of a sudden it skipped 2 beats at a time. Immediately dived down into the pool, took out the baby, but the baby was suffocating. Now listen, I never did CPR, but God blessed me with those skills in that very moment. I was able to keep myself calm and did CPR on the baby and was able to get it to breathe again. Yes, I didn't tell the parents, the baby is fine. I really should have told the parents, because what if it did cause a health issue? But from what I've seen, the baby's fine. Yeah, I didn't tell them what happened, but I quit babysitting because I felt guilty. They haven't said anything about their baby dysfunctioning, so the baby is fine.
That's why I never trust anybody off of Roblox. A few years ago on Roblox, when I started playing Roblox, I would join a bunch of games and friend everybody in the game. I would even join different servers to friend more people. But this one time, I joined a server and I was very interested in the game, so I didn't friend anybody in that one. But I got a friend request from a girl named Ladybug134. Her name sounded very cool at the time, in my opinion, and I accepted it. Then I left the game to start chatting with her. She started chatting with me about saying, can I make a group chat with you and my friend on Roblox? I said, sure, why not? Because I meant more friends. Then in the group chat, I was saying hi, hello, and stuff like that, and the weird little XDs, emojis, and stuff like that. I was getting kind of confused because nobody else was talking in the chat. You will not believe what they chatted. Like for part 2. Part 2, sorry for the long wait. When I opened up the group chat, I got really nervous because it said, I know where you are. I started getting scared because it was 2 people knowing where I live. So I unfriended both of them and blocked them. I joined the same game and got another friend request from somebody. This time, the name was LadyMan256. Because in the beginning, it was Ladybug. So, I don't know. I accepted it because at the time, like I said, I thought having a lot of friends was cool. They chatted me linking my email. I got really nervous. When I clicked the email, it had pictures of me. I kept on getting spam accounts from my phone messages, and it kept on saying, why did you do that? Why did you do that? And I'm guessing it's because I blocked them. Thank you for all the support. The next day, I got a call from an anonymous number. I was confused, but I still answered it. At the time, I was younger, so I didn't really notice. When I answered, it was like a robot keep on repeating, why did you do that? Why did you do that? I got really scared and I hung up. I screenshotted the number just in case I would need it as evidence or proof. Because at the time, I thought I was doing something very smart. I kept on getting the same calls that kept on saying, why did you do that? Why did you do that? I know I did something really bad. To the point where I got so scared, I had to tell my parents. I told my mom, and she didn't really believe me at first. And then I showed her the picture of the proof of the photo that had the number of the anonymous number. Then she called it. You will not believe what the anonymous number said to her. Like for part 4. Part 4. Thank you for waiting. When my mom called the number, it took a little bit for the number to answer. But then it finally answered. And the number said, I know who you are. We've been together for a long time. I'm not sure if they meant together in a relationship or as friends. But I'm going to say as friends. I got very confused because I didn't know who it was, and I would have understood their voice if I knew them. But maybe they had some high-tech technology that changed their voice. But then the number hung up immediately and started texting my mom. It kept on saying, I'm done with your daughter, but now I'm not done with you. I I got really scared for my mom because I kind of got her into something. I didn't want to get her into anything because this would all be my fault. Like for part 5. And by the way, thank you for all this support. Part 5, the last part. After the anonymous number was text my mom, I'm done with your daughter, but I'm not done with you, she kept on getting fake emails from stores that she liked. For example, Walmart, Old Navy, or even Fashion Nova. She clicked on the Old Navy one. Then it said put in your email and your password, and she put it in because it said if you do it, you get a free discount. Then when it was done, there was a badge on the side that had a smiley face. Then her phone immediately turned off. When she got back in her phone, my friend was calling her. It was weird because my friend was calling her, not calling me. And she asked my mom if I can come over. Then my mom told me, and I obviously said yes because we were friends. When I went over her house, we wanted to play Roblox together. When she was on there, she joined my game, but not on her real account. She joined the game as Ladybug 234.
How my mom told me she wished she never had me. Okay, so boom, jumping right in. Question, you ever had a mom who loved you, motivated you, and respected you? Yeah, well, can't say the same for me. My mom is a single mother that had me at a young age and is currently in college. But the thing is, my mom hates me. And you know why she hates me? Because I have a relationship with my dad. She's mentally abusive and sometimes physical. She tells me how she's disgusted with me and how I should worship her since she brought me into this world. And when I was younger, she tried to get me to hate my dad and even use me as a weapon against my dad. But my dad ended up putting himself on child support and doing shared custody. Well, I had a birthday party when I was turning 16 and my dad paid for everything. My mom kind of just showed up. And on my birthday, I was about to hear one of the most hurtful things a mother can say to their daughter. Like for part 2. Part 2 on how my mom told me she wished she never had me. Okay, so boom, like I said, I was turning 16 and my dad threw me a birthday party where he paid for everything. And my mom kind of just showed up. She gave me really bad energy and I tried to ignore it, but later that night, I walked into the restroom looking for my mom and she was in there with her friend. And that's when I heard her say that she should have aborted me and that she wished she never had me. I cried my eyes off and my mom didn't even care when she found out. My dad ended up getting full custody and I haven't seen or spoken to my mom ever since. Now I'm at a better place and I'm happy living with my dad and my loving stepmother and sister. Sometimes someone hurt is so deep-rooted it places hatred on people who's undeserving. She hated my dad for leaving but for staying with me. And that's something that she's eventually gonna have to come to terms with. But I refuse to let her bring me down. Now I'm loved, happy, and elevated.